Hello everyone. In this video, we'll have a look at the XAT issue essay, which is more likely, which is what we expect in our 2022 XAT exam. However, there will be another video where we'll talk about the argument essay and how to go about it. But in this video, we'll have a look at the issue essay in detail. Now, there is a lot of ambiguity regarding the essay task on the XAT exam this time. So, hope this video will help get you more clarity about the issue essay task here. So let's understand what the task really is. Now, as per the format, this is going to be the second part of your test. 25 minutes is what you have, and general knowledge, 25 questions, and one essay task is what you have to do. So I suggest that you finish your general knowledge questions within 5 minutes and keep 20 minutes of your time for your essay task. So again, it is upon your comfort. You can probably spend 7 minutes on your general knowledge, but again, ideally, we would like you to spend 5 minutes on general knowledge and then spend 20 minutes on your essay writing task. So as far as preparation is concerned, what you have to do, what are things that you can start doing right now? So here, preparing for general knowledge, any which ways you have to do for your GK section, but that will come handy in your essay preparation as well, because the kind of topics that we get may be associated with some general knowledge topics, and you can use that information in your examples as well. So a lot of relevant information from your general knowledge topics can be used in your essay examples as well. So whenever you're using any example, the more facts, the more statistics that you add in your essay will give it more weight, and hence will help you write a better essay. Therefore, so you can probably prepare general knowledge topics month wise, whatever major events have happened, and try to prepare in a manner that you have an idea about some sort of details, facts, specifics, and a little bit of story regarding these general current events or general knowledge examples. All right. Then reading articles is definitely going to help you understand what sort of language should you use and what sort of structure should you have in your essay. Reading sample essays will definitely give you more clarity as to what exactly is expected on the essay task. However, we'll have a look at the template that we can follow, which will make it very easy for you guys to plan your essay in a very stepwise manner. And structure is definitely going to be one of the key points in your essay task. So here, let's have a look at what exactly is tested on the issue essay, what the test is or what the essay is all about. So before preparing for the issue task, it is essential that you understand what exactly the task is. So here, the readers are looking for, the writer considers the complexities of the issue. So you understand what the topic really is. You support your position with relevant examples. Your essay must be coherent and well organized. So structure, as I said, is very important. And your ideas should be presented in a manner that they support your point of view. It should not be abrupt. So all the points that you mention should link to your point of view and should be able to substantiate your point of view. To consider the complexities of the issue simply means that you should not be writing a very extreme essay. You should not be writing a very one-sided essay. You should take a stand, but that does not mean that you ignore the other side of the topic. Your essay should demonstrate a good use of the language and decent vocabulary. Try to write in a manner that you avoid grammatical or spelling mistakes. There is no set of instructions as discussed earlier. We don't really have a lot of clarity about what the task or what sort of topic we're going to have. But a common issue essay task has the following direction. So you will find the topic. It's going to be a binary topic. For example, it could be something as abstract as should public funding of arts be curtailed? And then you will have a certain set of instructions. For example, write a response in which you discuss which view more closely aligns with your own position and explain your reasoning for the position you take. In developing and supporting your position, you should address both of the views presented. So most of the times, this is what your task is going to look like. And as I said earlier, it's important that you consider both point of views, but again, make sure that you pick a side and you support your side with relevant examples. So let's see how can we do that in a manner that we are able to finish this essay within 20 minutes. And we're looking at a word limit of 200, 250 words maximum. So it's not going to be a very lengthy essay. So we have to be very clear in our approach as to what do we need to write here. So there is no scope for any unnecessary jargon here. We have to be very clear about all the points about the ingredients of our different paragraphs that we're going to have in our essay here. So keeping that in mind, I would like to share with you the template, which will allow you to plan your essay within the word limit. So here, of course, every essay needs to have a structure which includes an introduction paragraph, body paragraph, and conclusion. But what exactly do we have to write in these paragraphs can be a task. So here, when it comes to the introduction paragraph, I have tried to make it as mathematical as possible for you guys. So the introduction paragraph, first thing that we need to do is we need to start with a topic sentence. Now you have a lot of freedom here. You can use different strategies to introduce the topic. You can paraphrase the topic. You can probably start with a rhetorical question. That's totally up to you. The idea is to start with the topic, and this is most likely going to be a very abstract topic. So you can probably relate it to something, some current event or some sort of practical event which will help you substantiate your point better. Then your point of view. So as I said, this is where you need to consider the complexities of the topic. This is where you need to show your grader that you understand that the other side may also have some advantages, but despite that, you have a different point of view, and then you can support or provide reasons why you have, I mean, whatever your point of view really is. Now, another key point that can really give you guys an edge here is to preview supporting examples. Now, not a lot of people will be able to preview examples because most of us just start writing without planning our essay much. So here, someone who really plans the essay, someone who's well thought of what you're going to write, can definitely preview the examples which you're going to use later in your body paragraph. So I'll come to that in a moment. How can we make sure that we know what exactly we're going to write? But it will be a good idea that you preview the examples that you're going to use later in your body paragraph. All right. So three key points in the introduction paragraph is what we're looking at: the topic sentence, your point of view, and the examples or the points that you're going to develop later in your body paragraph. Now, moving on to the body paragraph, what the ingredients of a body paragraph are: first, you need to make a transition. So, as we discussed earlier, the essay should not be abrupt. So, it's not that you can start with something random or something totally new in your body paragraph. It would be more logical to start with something that you've already introduced in the introduction paragraph. So see, as we discussed, the different paragraph need to have different ingredients. So for the introductory paragraph, the right ingredients would be to introduce items. For the body paragraph, right ingredients would be to describe things in detail. So once you start your first body paragraph, it is better that you start with a transition. And since the introduction paragraph has mentioned the examples at the end, it makes sense to start with one of your examples here. So you simply just link one of the examples, explain that example in the detail in the body paragraph here, where you go on to describe some sort of story and facts, specifics that you think are relevant for your position here. And that's precisely I mentioned earlier. So whenever you're preparing examples from your general knowledge, current events, current affairs, and all. Make sure that you learn or make sure that you are aware of some sort of the details with the event associated. Then link your examples to your point of view. So it's good to write all the details. It's good to explain the entire story in detail, but it's imperative that we link our examples to our point of view as well. That's where we show that how relevant our example is to the position that we take here. Now, depending on your word limit, depending on your awareness of the topic, and depending on your ability to recall good examples or relevant examples to your point of view, you can probably go for 2 or even 3 body paragraphs. All right. But remember, we are not looking for a very lengthy essay here, somewhere close to 200 to 50 words. Usually, 2 body paragraphs will be more than enough. So, different paragraphs for different examples is definitely going to be a good idea, rather than mixing 2 different examples in the same paragraph. It's better that you make separate paragraphs for separate examples here. Once you are done with your body paragraphs, you will move on to the concluding, the final paragraph of your essay, where the idea is to restate your point of view, to summarize whatever examples you've mentioned, and you can end it with a concluding thought here. So it sounds a bit repetitive, but again, we're trying to make a claim here. So it is more logical to restate what your position really is, and then again, summarize all the examples. Or if you don't really have the space, you don't really have the word limit, then you can probably just summarize in one sentence all the examples and how they're relevant to your point of view. Now, concluding thought could be your thought, could be a quotation, could be anything, just to finish the essay here. So this is the template that if we follow will make it easier for you to plan your essay in much less time. Because as you can see, you have 25 GK questions and the essay task. So you don't really have a lot of time in this section here. Therefore, if we follow the template here, you will not have to waste any time on planning what do I have to write or thinking about what sentence comes next. You already have a very clear understanding of sentence by sentence what you have to write here. So let's have a look at with some sort of an example here as to what it would look like to include all these points in our essay here. So basically the essay has 3 parts: introduction, body paragraph, and a conclusion. And as discussed, introductory paragraph should introduce the topic, discuss the issues surrounding the topic, and present the writer's position. So I hope we are clear with this point here, that the introductory paragraph is the sole purpose of this paragraph is to introduce points. So do not try to explain anything in detail here. Just introduce the topic, discuss the issues surrounding the topic. As I said, consider your point of view and the opposite side as well, and then present your point of view. The only thing I would like to add here is that if you can, please preview the examples you're likely to use. Now, body paragraph should include or should present examples supporting your point of view, and concluding paragraph should summarize the points. So that's what we are planning to do in our different paragraphs here. Now, let's say if we talk about the same topic that we had earlier, should public funding of arts be curtailed? Now, again, as I said, you could these topics can vary in. You will have topics from a lot of different varieties here, so it is worthwhile to have a look at previous years' essay topics. I will share a few of the topics which could be relevant for the coming exam. So let's say if we talk about this topic here, should public funding of arts be curtailed here? First step, so mistake that most of us make is that we see the topic and we simply start writing or typing here. Rather than that, I suggest that you spend 2 minutes to 3 minutes here just to brainstorm the topic. Think what side is going to be better for me. All right. Should I agree with the pro side of it, or should I simply go with the negative side of it is something that you need to decide here. All right. And the simplest way is to jot down your points for both sides. So it's this brainstorming exercise will take about 2 minutes to 3 minutes max. You simply make a column for both sides. Now, don't decide before, don't decide based on your personal inclination, because of course there are no points for personal inclination. Points are for writing a better essay here. So let's see what I mean here is that you think of all the points which are relevant. You think of all the examples that you can use for the pro side first. So for example, let's say we can think of art serves as economic driver, jobs, tax, tourism, small business. These are all the good things for the art here, right? So these are all good points that we can use, and probably if I can think of some sort of more tangible example here, then it would most definitely be helpful for my essay here. Education, creativity, innovation, help at risk youth, cultural legacy, health benefits. These are all the positive points that I have here if I agree with the topic. If I say that, yes, public funding of art should, oh, if I say that it should not be curtailed. However, if I agree with the topic, if I say that yes, it should be curtailed, then what points can we use? What examples can we develop? We can think about, we have limited budget. There may be other pressing needs like healthcare, disaster, and especially times like COVID. Definitely give you a perspective here. Will definitely be relevant for such sort of a topic here. Do we have more pressing needs here? Is it unnecessary and wasteful? Increasing monitoring by the state, freedom of expression compromised, and then red tapeism, increased paperwork, slow reimbursements, and all is these are the points that come to mind. Now, again, so once you have a list of all these points, then you need to think that for which side do we have more examples? For which point can I really use some examples to substantiate it? Whatever side you feel more comfortable with, whatever side you feel that you can write a better essay, that's the side you should go with, rather than deciding beforehand, rather than going by your personal inclination here. So here, subsequently you decide which side is easier to work on, and then which ideas can be developed, which ones can be discarded, and basis of that you should decide which side are you going to present your essay on. Now, on the introductory paragraph here, what are different approaches, what are different strategies that you can use is what I want to talk about. So establishing the topic, as we discussed, the first point is to introduce the topic. How to do that? So there are different ways. You can use rhetorical questions. You can use quotations if you remember any. So for example, a rhetorical question could be something like, does the government have a legitimate role to play in arts? Should the arts receive funds from the government when so many other needs are pressing? Does this 50-year history of state art agencies show anything but benefits to citizens, to the government? So again, totally up to you. It's upon your creativity how you would like to present your topic sentence. You can use a quotation, and then of course you can cite facts, statistics, anecdotes, and you can write definitions as well. Now, writing definitions could be one of the better strategies here, because as I said, these are abstract topics. So if you can twist them, if you can provide an interpretation to it, you can relate it to something more practical, that will allow you a lot of freedom, and will make your task that much easier to write here. But again, to write sites, to cite facts, statistics, and all, you will have to prepare a bit. You will have to jot down all these current events, current affairs for over which have happened over the year. Not only current events, but again, uh, major things that happened over the past year. For example, the education policy that has changed, the pandemic has brought in so much. So all these things could be relevant to your essay here. So these are things that you can use in your establishing the topic part here, the introductory paragraph. Now, discussing the issues. So the next point in our introductory paragraph was to touch upon both sides of the topic. So for example, here it says, although the government does struggle to pay for such basic services as education and healthcare, the state funding of art should continue as the arts are an economic asset that supports jobs, stimulates commerce, and stabilizes property values, among other benefits. So here, as you can clearly see, the contrast is there. Although the government does struggle to pay for such basic services, so we understand that this could be difficult, but we still have some points, we still have some benefits associated with that. The other point of view could be there is no doubt that the government needs to make the most of every asset during natural disasters and economic downturns. And yet, it is during these very times that arts offer timely assistance with educational and civic challenges that tend to escalate during tough times. So another uh, way to support that, we should provide funding. In the past, music, dance, and theater were the only forms of entertainment available, and hence many kinds of loved kings love to splurge on them, but should these obsolete practices and unwarranted fascinations of the imperial era persist in the current day and age? So there you go. This considers the opposite side and makes it clear that the author is not in the favor of providing funding to arts and all. Then your point of view, which is of course one of the most important points in the introductory paragraph here, you present your opinion. In my opinion, spending on arts by the government in the light of other pressing need is wasteful, and hence such a practice should be abolished and not supported. In addition to their inherent value to society, arts are an important policy asset and prosperity generator for states, so the government should fund the arts. So there you go, examples to if you want to go with the pro side or if you want to go for the con side here. So this is exactly what I meant earlier. You need to include all these ingredients in your introductory paragraph. So once you understand this, it makes a lot more easier for you to simply type your essay because you know exactly what to write. All you have to do is make few changes with respect to the topic that you have here. Here, let's have a look at what the body paragraph is going to look like here. So using a transition, presenting a relevant example, and then explaining how the example supports your thesis is the idea. Let's consider this sample body paragraph here. So consider the economic aspects. Strong art sector is an economic asset that simulates business activity, attracts tourism revenue, and retains a high quality workforce. Numerous states have recognized this and have incorporated the arts into economic revitalization, education, workforce development, and tourism. We are aware that theatre in London is vibrant. Sorry, the art in London is vibrant and thriving, with various artists producing excellent work. But how many of us are aware that London state funded theatre is a prime example to support public funding of arts? It earns over £500 million of a year. 75% of the directors, or designers, and writers working in the West End come from the publicly funded theatre, and it serves as one of the top 20 attractions in cultural tourism. It is clear that the arts not only provide employment but also attract tourism revenue. So another very interesting aspect here, the writer makes a logical appeal to the audience here, presenting facts and presenting a logical aspect because at times not everyone is convinced with sentiment. Let's say, so when we're talking about is it necessary to provide funding to arts or not, then here is a very good example where the author has provided a logical point that it is not only from the cultural point of view, but it is adding to the revenue and they're able to generate employment with art as well. So here, that's what I was talking about. Relevant examples, some points. If you're prepared with some data, some statistics, can definitely help you provide a more emphatic body paragraph. Here, let's have a look at a sample concluding paragraph as well. So a conclusion demonstrates well-organized essay and should include summary of the main points. That's what the task is. And let's have a look at a sample here. The examples mentioned above all serve to show that art play a key role in generating employment and tax revenue, encouraging creativity besides skill and knowledge and community revitalization. So here author has summarized all the points, not only about revenue, but also about cultural and community. This thing clearly the bulk of evidence shows that public funding of arts is not just appropriate, but necessary. So this is the sort of concluding thought that we discussed earlier that you can mention to just wrap things up here. Now, if you're left with a minute at the end, I suggest that you just have a look at it if there are any spelling mistakes or if you have missed out anything. I suggest don't use a fancy word if you're not sure of the meaning or if you're not sure of the spelling. So, following all these steps can allow you to finish your essay task in time, and it provides you a much clearer approach to present all your points in a more coherent manner. Now, simple essay prompts that you can prepare. Some of these here is what you can expect on your exam here. Should e-learning replace classroom learning completely? You can probably practice writing these sample essays as well. A relation between climate change and COVID pandemic, national education policy, a good step. Nature knows no borders, and neither do natural calamities. So quite relevant topics that you will find, and you can probably start practicing, start typing these essays just to see if you're able to finish it in time and within the word limit or not. So there you go. That's it, guys. All the best. I hope this helps.